People at Truckstop then teamed up with the boy Mark the Mentor. Are you ready to take your trucking business to the next level? With Truckstop Pro, you get access to the best load board in the game, giving you the tools to find higher paying loads and streamline your operation. And right now, you can try the Pro plan free for 30 days, a $159 value. Click the link in the description to claim your free Pro plan and start making smarter moves for your trucking business today.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up? Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. Let's get this show on the road. Got a poll up. Make sure you participate in the poll. How's everybody doing? Shout out to Alex. Shout out to all the MGM members. What's going on? Don Solo, what's going on? Representing the crib. T Smooth says, hey, Mark, been following you for a while, but I would like to know, do you recommend anyone get into the cargo van medical courier space right now? Well, my answer for that is can never go wrong with healthcare, right? Never go wrong with healthcare in pretty much any capacity. The difference is, though, when you're talking about like this medical courier space, that's going to depend on a few variables. The first, which I don't know the answer to, is what market are you in? So you still have to do a business plan. You have to analyze your market. You have to do the research there to see if there's opportunities in your market, because that's more of a localized type of thing. So you need to do the proper research to make sure that you have a market that has those opportunities available. You could be in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't know. So, but healthcare, there's always opportunities. But in this aspect, you have to do your due diligence to make sure that the market that you're in has opportunities for you. Shout out to Blessing. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Shout out to SD Walt representing Cleveland. Kelvin Birch representing Texas. Shout out to Ruben. What's going on? Shout out to GOAT representing the DMV. Shout out to, who else we got in here? LaDante, what's going on? Shout out to Rich representing.
Yo, goof ass.
Oh, man, I hit the wrong button. My bad, Rich. I didn't mean to hit that. I meant to hit that. Hey, I hit the wrong button on Rich. My bad, big dog. My bad, big dog. All right, check the poll out. We got the poll. What's the biggest mistake new box truck owners make? Now, this is a trick question. You got to pay attention to the context. Pay attention to the context. It's a trick question. It's a trick question. Pay attention to the context. What's the biggest mistake new box truck owners make? Read the question. Read the answer. This is one of them trick multiple choice questions. It could be a few different answers, but you got to really pay attention to the context. And then we'll see. I got to remind myself, because I be ending the lives without going over the answers. So we're going to get that. I'm going to make sure I remember to come back to that, because I ain't going to be here long today. I know I say that, but I ain't going to be here long today. Even though it's cold in the mug and I ain't really got nothing to do, but I'm not going to be here long. Shout out to everybody. Come on in. All right, let's talk today. I want to talk about, shout out to, I see Chicago's very own, see Rich, go-getter. What's going on? Today I want to talk about robbing from the sustainability of the business, man. We got to come back to robbing from the sustainability of the business. You already know why we coming back. We ain't talked about robbing from the sustainability of the business in a while. We got a lot of get it out the mud. It's a lot of get it out the mud. What's get it out the mud? Get it, GITM LLC. Get it out, GIOTM LLC. We gotta get a hashtag going on. Get it out the mud trucking LLC. Actually, it is a real trucking company. Somebody actually ran across Get It Out the Mud at a loading dock or at a truck stop or something, and they took the picture. and they sent it to me. I gotta find it. I should have saved it. It's a real trucking company called Get It Out the Mud Trucking LLC. Oh, I forgot the trucking part, so we gotta add that T after the M. We gotta get that. We gotta get that. Because a lot of people been asking me, man, Mark, you need to get some merch. Like, bro, then somebody got to manage all that stuff and come up with ideas. And, we know we coined a lot of things on this channel. We coined a lot of things. I know y'all be sending people be stealing all my swag, my sayings and goofy and tweaking and Get It Out the Mud Trucking LLC and just all the little swag that, I drop on this channel. And they stole it from me because ain't nobody else saying it. And plus, a lot of the lingo that I say is from the crib, and these cats ain't from the crib. So we might have to do that just so that we can put some type of, I don't know, people really know where the shit came from. We might have to look at some legal things for some of the stuff that we be, coming up with over here. But man, let's talk about this robbing from the sustainability of the business, man. And the ramifications of what happens, because I don't think a lot of people understand what robbing from the sustainability of the business means. But let's get into it. It's a few bullet points that I want to discuss when it comes to robbing from the sustainability of the business. All right, one of the biggest mistakes I see that a lot of box truck business owners and even cargo van business owners make is, prioritizing immediate gratification over long-term success. That's one of the main reasons people come into the business anyway. We talked about it kind of yesterday, maybe a little bit the day before. One of the main reasons people want to start a business because they kind of run it from something, or they're looking to satisfy something that they feel like they missing, or they think that's the answer to obtaining, a better quality. Like somebody posted something in the Discord from somebody that's been on the channel, probably somebody that's probably watching right now. And around the holidays, around Thanksgiving, we I thought it was like an intervention. I think the kid was just going in the wrong direction. But, I saw something yesterday that someone shared in the Discord, and this guy, who I'm talking about, who's probably watching, was just going on this epic rant about being a millionaire and, not wanting to work and, being determined and da 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 da. And, just listening to this kid, it's just like, that situation, without going into too much details, I'm just listening to the kid, and everything that he was saying just screamed instant. It just screamed instant. Like the purpose of wanting to, hopefully become this millionaire was all for give me a word. I want to be politically correct. Material things, which is fine if that's what you want to do. I'm not here to judge, but I thought, maybe one of the answers was maybe take care of your family, provide a better quality of life. I'm listening to things like shopping sprees and big houses and nice cars. So, this is the main reason why a lot of people want to come into the business: instant gratification, which leads to a lot of robbing from the sustainability of the business, because, the box truck business, the cargo van business, it can provide quick profits depending on how you enter, but those profits initially should be reinvested and put back into the business to ensure the sustainability of the business. And this is where a lot of people don't understand that have a low business acumen. This is what a lot of people don't understand who want to shut their ears to solid business advice and give excuses of coming from the struggle and things of that nature. The business doesn't care nothing about that. The business don't care where you come from. They don't care nothing about your upbringing. All the business wants to do is continue to generate revenue. It loves making money. It hates losing it. That's it. Business doesn't have any feelings. None whatsoever. A lot of new box truck business owners often start making the money, and instead of taking it and taking a step back and looking at their operating costs, potential maintenance costs that could arise in the future, future growth, right? So scalability, they end up just taking the money and spending it on personal luxuries, like I was listening to this guy talk about yesterday. Buying new cars, taking trips, vacations, so on and so forth. That's the number one thing where a lot of people come in now. I see, especially with a specific demographic. And when I say demographic, I'm talking about age demographic of a great example of robbing from the sustainability of the business. The reality is the business needs money. The business needs more money than you do. If you're paying yourself more money than the business, then you're doing it wrong. And then this is where people, don't understand or they want to challenge me. And then I pull up examples. Go look at Jeff, and then go look at the market cap for Amazon. Go look at the market cap for Apple, and then go look at the net worth of Tim Cook. Go look at Elon, and go look at the net worth the market cap for Tesla. Go look at any successful business person in the top 10 wealthiest people, and I guarantee you that the market cap for the company that they founded far surpasses their net worth in both cash and stock shares. It's not even close. The business needs the money more than you do. Now, you could say, a lot of people say, man, Mark, I got to take care of home. Understood. But then that goes back into what we talk about working capital. You have to have enough working capital initially so that you can withstand and sustain the business throughout the learning curve. Depending on what your cost of living is that you would need to pay yourself at the inception of the business may not generate the revenue to sustain the business and produce a payroll for you to sustain whatever that current cost of living that you have already in place when you start your business. That's where a lot of people, drop the ball, and then I get, it's crazy. Get it out the mud truck and get mad at me for telling you this. My content isn't for Get It Out the Mud Trucking LLC. My content is for people who want to run a real business and want to see longevity. My content is not for a person that's looking to hustle. My content is for a person who wants to build a real business. They want to see year 5. They want to know what it is and what it feels like to get to a decade. If you can make it to 10 years in trucking, you're a winner. A lot of people can't make it past year 1 for this very reason. Building a business, you have to keep in mind that you have to make sure that the business can cash flow. The business's cash flow is more important than your bills at home. Now, Get It Out the Mud Trucking LLC CEO is watching me right now and they confused because in their mind, they thinking like, yo, I started a business to run this bag up. Well, you think you looking at it the wrong way. You looking at it the wrong way. The business needs more money than you do because you need capital for repairs, for fuel, for insurance. And if you plan on growing, which I think is the goal for most people, expansion. What did I tell y'all we was going to start seeing come January? Didn't I tell you the tax questions was going to start coming? I told y'all. I see you, Vince, with the tax question. I told y'all them tax questions was going to start coming January. Wait till the more we get into January, the more tax questions going to come. What I tell y'all? If you drain your business account prematurely, then business not going to be able to sustain during the lean times, right? And then you're going to be left without a buffer and those inevitable down periods, which are going to eventually come because they always do. It's inevitable. You're not going to have any cash flow to weather whatever that storm may be or whatever it may look like. You don't know what type of storm is going to come. Only thing I can tell you is eventually you're going to have one. And this is why it's important that, your business has strong cash flow. And that immediate gratification that a lot of people seek at the beginning of their business is what kills a lot of people. Coming in without a good business plan and not enough working capital. Listen, this whole back and forth that I've been having lately, I'm not going to continue to have it. I'm going to come back to working capital at a later time, but like I can't go back and forth and continue to present different ways of, showing you why working capital is important. I have to understand my level of intelligence. And if I'm debating with people who are just, and here's the thing, it gets past the point of just ignorance. If you don't think a business needs working capital, and I have to debate it with you, like this shouldn't even be a debate amongst business people. This should be a debate amongst a business person and a non-business person. Two people that consider themselves business people should not have to debate if working capital is a necessity or not. That's something that I have to work on. Ignoring things that my mental, like I'm not going to waste my time on just shit that's below ignorance. You think I'm going to go to Elon Musk if I got a chance to talk to Elon, if I got a chance to talk to Jeff, or if I got a chance to talk to Tim Cook or Bernard Arnault or Warren Buffett, or if I ever got a chance to talk to Charlie Munger, rest in peace, or any of these guys that have had just success in business and investing, do you think I would dare ask them or insinuate if working capital is a necessity at the inception of a business? I would not make myself look so ignorant. I wouldn't do it. When you look at all these guys beginning, when they start their business, it's hard, I think, for some people to really look at where a lot of these guys started and really put it into reality. But a lot of these guys started the same way I start, the same way smart people start. It's just they, grew so abundantly. It's kind of hard to look at their beginning. Jeff Bezos started in his parents' garage. Amazon was started in the garage. His parents' garage. Humble beginnings. Starting with what you have, not an office space. But people want to argue with me about working capital and getting out. Just because you from the struggle doesn't mean go out and do what's not in your best interest and start a broke business. It means work another job, use what you have, build up the working capital, and grow from there. I'm not going to do it. That means for viewer, content, certain things that are just below ignorance, you won't get a response out of me. I'm too smart to debate ignorance or shit that's below ignorance. And this is not me being arrogant. It's something I had to realize. Because a person who would say something that's below ignorance is a person that it's not, you can't sway them anyway. You're not going to be able to sway that person anyway. And we've seen examples of that. So I'm not going to waste my time on that any longer. All right, let's talk about neglecting operational cost. One big mistake is a lot of people ignore their operational cost, which is essential to keeping the business running. A lot of new owners believe that once they secure a contract, that money going to keep coming in. It's going to keep coming in, especially a lot of the dedicated guys. They think the money just going to continue to roll in, and it's going to minutia the day-to-day cost. Until something happens. See, that's like a person who's counting on that money because they know it's there, and then they go out and they do things that's not in their best interest because they know, well, I got to dedicate it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make that money right back next week when I get my settlement. I'm making $750. I'm making $800. I'm making $1,000 a day. You always got to plan for the future. The biggest threat to a box truck or cargo van business is not the competition; it's the financial literacy. Being financially literate, which a lot of people are not, just not in this box truck cargo van industry, just in general. That's why I played that video yesterday. A person who starts a box truck business or a cargo van business, they need to be more financially literate than if they were working a job. You need to be financially literate, period. But it's just kind of like what I said yesterday. When you work a job, there's a person there that acts sort of like a liaison to kind of help guide and consult you, you know, with investments and setting yourself up for the future. It's called an HR manager. When you start your own business, you become your own HR manager. So you have to set up your own retirement. We don't see people talk about retirement. When people come up here, we talk about fixed costs. You don't hear Roth IRA. You don't hear any other types of retirement plans. There's many you can choose from. There's many ways you can set yourself up for the future. You never hear that. You don't hear retirement plan, You don't hear any type of health medical insurance. Not one time. You know why? Most guys, and I'm just being honest, don't have the room for it. You don't hear it. But getting back to the more financial part, taking the health part out, how long do you plan on being in the box truck business? How long do you plan on being in the cargo van business? If you come in, your plan is just to be a single owner operator, how are you going to set yourself up for retirement? A lot of people don't think about this. And they end up, robbing from the sustainability of the business. The business is floating. They're just going and going and going. And then you hear another word we hear, oh, I'm getting by. How long do you plan on getting by? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Do you want to be 77 like that guy still getting by? What about the future? What sacrifices are you going to make with this business to set yourself up in preparation for the future? I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Depending on what you're doing in trucking, it's not something that lasts forever. It's not something that I would recommend someone do forever. It's very taxing. Even OTR is very taxing. You're not really lifting anything, but you're sitting down, bumping around for hours and hours and hours, day after day after day. Do you want to do that? Do you see yourself being 77, 80 years old still doing that? So what are you going to do to set yourself up for the future? What sacrifices are you going to make? When you went and you thought you were making enough money because the business has some level of sustainability and you're paying yourself, you know, enough to get by, and now you thinking you running it up, you go get a Hellcat. You still don't got no health insurance. You still ain't invested into the future. You know how many guys I talk to that, say that they're doing good and they break the numbers down. Still, no health insurance, no retirement. You don't know when life is going to hit you. And life seems to be hitting people at younger ages now for a multitude of reasons. One is the food that we consume. This is why I went vegetarian last year. It's been a year and 4 days for me. So I've been vegetarian for 369 days. You know why a lot of younger people organs are failing and stuff? One's because of the food we eat. Now you take the guys that are OTR, look at the options they have over the road. Arby's, Hardee's, McDonald's, Wendy's, Popeyes. Not exercising, just eating and driving. Eating, going in the truck stop, eating, then getting back in the truck, sitting down. No exercise. Now, this is not everybody. Some guys are getting it in, but the majority aren't. So now you've been trucking for 10 years and then something happens to you physically, beyond your control. You didn't see it coming. Past 10 years you've been trucking, you haven't been setting something aside. Yeah, 10 years of investing into retirement may not cover you the rest of your life, but if something were to happen 10 years, you have something there in place temporarily until you figure something out. See, people don't think about things like that. There's guys out here that are in their 30s that, bodies are shutting down on them. 40s, bodies are shutting down on them. We had a guy on here recently, 33, just had an open heart surgery. 33. I still have yet one person, not one person in their fixed cost. Yeah, my business is paying X amount of dollars into my retirement. Not one person. I don't say nothing. I just listen. It's not my business to tell you, and this is why I don't do it. You hear me talk about it on live streams, and still no one does it. I just listen and break down whatever their fixed cost is. I never tell nobody, yo, you should go get health insurance. Yo, you should go get some type of retirement. It's not my business to tell you how to run your business or what to invest in or how to spend your business's money. You never know when something is going to happen. CPM, part of financial literacy. Why do I got to fight with people to help them understand what their cost per mile is? I only get that with the middle mile guys. I don't really get that with the final mile and the moving guys and the more localized guys. It's always, as far as that, comes with the middle mile guys. I don't really get operational cost issues with the local guys. It's always the middle mile guys. Why? Because the equation is a little bit more strenuous. It has to be done more often. So because that requires more work that uses this, why not do it? Oh man, you need to continuously find ways to cut. Oh man, you can only cut so much. Okay. You may hit a brick wall from time to time, but things change. This is why you constantly need to be searching. Told you guys yesterday or the day before. Why aren't you shopping your insurance every year? You allow your broker or your agent, whoever you're using, or if you're not, because most people just sit down and go to Progressive and do it themselves. That's why they're paying an arm and a leg. You just let it roll over and auto renew without shopping 60 days prior. See, me, I never cared about who the insurance company was because majority of the claims I knew I was going to pay them out of pocket anyway. I just always prayed to the good Lord that it would be a claim that we would have to file on the insurance outside of commercial auto. I'm always looking to cut. Always. Why? Because that's beneficial to the business. We're in business to make money, not spend it. We want to make as much and keep as much as possible. And the money that we do spend, we want to spend it on the things that we want to spend it on. If you can find ways to cut your costs so that you can take that money that you saved and allocate that into a retirement plan. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? I don't understand why people don't have retirement plans or health insurance. That's crazy to me. I don't understand why people not keeping tabs on their operational cost. Accepting jobs that eat into your margins because you don't understand what your operational cost is. That's why I tell people, stop worrying about what other people are doing. There's a lot of people out here that don't know what they're doing. So when people are running around saying this, this whole stop taking, some of the people don't know that they're even taking it at a loss because they don't know what their cost is. I'm not going to waste my time worrying about other people and other people's businesses. That's their problem. I'm going to focus on what's in front of me. My time spent focusing on other people, I'm neglecting what's in front of me. And you know what happens when you rob from the sustainability of your business, when you don't do what's in your best interest because you don't know what it costs you to operate, and you get by for a year? You go take one of those daily debit loans or one of those future receivables loans for 9 months. And they use your future receivables as collateral. And you think that's your breath of fresh air, not realizing that's putting you deeper in the hole. It's making it harder for you to come from out of it, whatever debt you're in. Why? Because you're borrowing against your future profits. You were already broke and desperate. This is why you're making a desperate decision. Like people that go out and get these trucks out of desperation and end up paying twice for it. Lack of financial literacy. There's no way I'm going to go get a $50,000 truck and end up paying $96,000 for it. There's no way, no how. Listen, if I went and that was the option that they gave me and the only option that they gave me, I would get up and walk away. If it was an online thing and they sent it to me, I would X out of it. It's crazy to me that I have a folder full of these deals that people send me to look at after the fact. I have way more after the fact, meaning, man, Mark, I think I messed up, man. Look at this and let me know. Then people say, hey, Mark, I'm finna go buy a truck. Take a look what you think. There's that one that I always like to show because it's probably one of the worst ones I've seen, where the $50,000 truck ended up being $96,000. And when he got the email, only thing he had to do was look at the term. $1,605 a month and just times it times 60. The truck was 50 grand. Why didn't you do this before you signed and you sent them $11,000, $12,000? Wired it. Now, a year later, when you're in this business and now you want to break down your costs, man, Mark, can you help me look at my costs? Because, man, I'm running. I'm not making any money. Where's all the money going? It's going right there. A lot of people look at it like, man, 1,600, that ain't nothing. It's not the way to look at it. It's not the way to look at it. You made the decision out of desperation. And a lot of people make business decisions, I see in this industry, out of desperation. Out of desperation and a lack of patience. The lack of patience comes from not wanting to start from humble beginnings, not looking at the situation for what it is, being real with themselves. Look, I'm not in a position, I don't have it to get a 26-foot box truck. Maybe I should start here. Maybe I should start there. But then you have those people, oh, well, man, you just got to do it. No, that's not how you look at things from a business perspective. And it's not being pessimistic and it's not being negative. Make sure you hit the like button. It's being realistic. You want to set yourself up for success. You don't want to set yourself up for potential failure. If I have to wait another year while I save up and build up more working capital so that I have a good start and give myself a fighting chance, I think that would be the better option than to start with just enough money and have no soldiers behind me. You already know who our soldiers are. If you've been following the channel, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Business planning, since we're on that. You don't take the time to plan. You don't take the time to plan your finances correctly, and this leads to poor decision making. No financial cushion, which helps you rob from the sustainability of the business. When unexpected costs come up, like repairs, or when fuel goes up, it happens every so many years, or when there's a economic downturn. People don't think about that. They think things are just going to stay consistent, which they don't. You don't know when, just like I gave you an example of the health thing, you don't know when the economy is going to shift. See, a lot of people think that, okay, Trump is going to come in and it's going to be cyclical to when he was in 2016 to 2020. It's a possibility, but what if it isn't? And what if it isn't due, and it doesn't have, anything to do with him, which means some type of economic downturn for whatever reason. It could be another pandemic. It could be a war. We don't know. A lot of people think the tariffs are going to be a good thing, but there's a pro and con to that. A pro is, it should help to make more domestic production, right? But what if it doesn't, or that lag, right? And then the tariffs that are placed on like China, and then the prices are going up, right? Because of the tariffs, and the consumers slow down on buying. I mean, that could go either way. That's why I say you always need to look at the pros and the cons. If they add tariffs to China, let's say, the cost for the consumer is going to go up. And if it goes up, it's a possibility that consumers may buy less. That's the con. The thing is, we don't know. So you have to be prepared either way. One of your biggest fears as being a business owner is running out of money. A guy came into my comment section the other day and said, "Oh man, this was a waste of time. I watched the whole thing and it seemed like it was more about my cost of living. What does that have to do with me starting a business?" Completely missed the whole point. Your cost of living has a lot to do with you starting a business. This is why a lot of people fail the first year, because they rob from the sustainability of their business to cover their current cost of living. I think I left that on. I didn't even respond to that because it was just beyond ignorant. I'm not responding to beyond ignorant things this year. If you are a person that is just beyond ignorant, you're not getting a response from me. I'm just not doing it no more. Like, this is one of those topics where I'm monotone, I'm chill, because you need to understand this. You need soldiers. You can't fight the war alone. It's a war. And I'm not talking about just the competition. You need soldiers. Every single dollar you have is a soldier. Even with the competition, the person that you're competing against, or the business that you're competing against, the more soldiers they have, the more leverage they have. Where's the sacrifice come from? See, people aren't willing to make the sacrifices from a personal perspective. Listen. This is the real deal, Holyfield. And this is where a lot of people, they get upset when we have these conversations. You may want to live a certain type of lifestyle, but your business may not be able to afford to pay you enough to live that lifestyle. What's more important to you, lifestyle or building the business? Lifestyle or building a business? This whole getting by thing is not the way you run a business. Time and time again, we see business people come up here, "Oh man, I'm getting by. I'm getting by month to month, scraping and scrambling, unable to put money aside for the future." And the business may actually be doing okay. It all leads back to personal choices and decisions. Expansion, the rush to scale. A lot of people ask me the scale question and don't know their operational costs. That's crazy to me. They overestimate their ability to handle more work. And this is a conversation that me and Ken have had. I think I touched on it the other day when he was up here, because he asked me, why didn't I continue to keep growing? And I said, man, I knew when I was at my wit's end. Going any further, I would have been biting off more than I can chew, and it would have been detrimental to the integrity of the business. If I didn't have anyone that could take on 75% of the workload, or give me 75% of me. So My 100%, I needed a person that could at least give me 75% of that in order to go up. And without that, I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to risk it. My days were long at that point. A lot of people bite off more than they can chew too prematurely, which ultimately leads them to robbing from the sustainability of business as well. Expansion and scaling is a gradual thing. And I always say the business will tell you when it's time. And people are like, what do you mean the business will tell you? And it's not something I really can, you'll just know. One reason you'll just know is because opportunities. One, you'll be in a situation where your business is profitable. One. Two, opportunities will still keep coming your way. If you have enough opportunities or you find yourself turning things down and opportunities are finding you and you're turning things down day in and day out and you're profitable, that's a good sign that you can scale. If you go out and get another truck, which we see a lot of people do, even the guy that came up yesterday, and then you have to go look for opportunities. You haven't really mastered the first truck. It's not time to scale. If you haven't mastered the first truck, there was a situation we had a few months ago. Lady came, I think I've talked about this before, 4 trucks, 1 year. Still doesn't know how to run one. She's scared to talk to me. She's scared because I told her the truth. Wasn't mean to her. I told her, I said, ma'am, you did too much and this is where you're at with it. There was more situations she told me and she will not talk to me. She comes into my Discord. She tries to avoid me. She better. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that because the truth is the truth. Another truck is not going to fix the problem that you're having with the first truck. The third truck is not going to fix the problem that you're having with the first 2. The fourth truck is not going to fix the problem. It's just going to add to it. You haven't mastered one truck. You're going to duplicate whatever you're doing with that first truck with the second, and so on and so forth. If you are successful with the first truck and opportunities are presenting themselves, then okay, what's known don't need to be explained. But if you're struggling, why do people think, this is one of those things that I just don't understand. Why do people think, all right, well, the first truck ain't making no money, so if I go get a second truck, then the second truck should be my profit? I can't even wrap my head around how people come up with the math to even come up with, I don't even know how to say it because it just doesn't even make sense to me. If you got a brick and mortar store and you're failing in the brick and mortar store, what makes you think if you go open another brick and mortar store, you're going to not fail at that? It's a possibility that the other brick and mortar store could succeed. Maybe it's the foot traffic, but if foot traffic isn't an issue, people are coming in the store and buying, then there's another issue that's causing your business to fail. You have to figure out what the issue is first. You duplicate success, not failure. I don't understand this for the life of me. I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's a gradual thing. Everybody wants to scale so bad, and they don't understand one truck. and jump the gun and take on more than they bite off more than they can chew, more than they can realistically manage. You stretch yourself too thin financially. Taking on more work, it costs more money. If you haven't mastered the financial responsibilities of one truck, getting a second truck, you're taking on more financial responsibility, more cost, more fuel, labor, maintenance, tolls. I don't understand it. This also leads to people robbing from the sustainability of the business. Cash flow issues. This creates cash flow issues as well. Digging yourself into a deeper hole. All while you still got your bills at home to pay. And guess what? You rob from the sustainability of the business. Sacrifice got to come from somewhere. What you gonna go without? Who gonna be neglected? The real answer. I'm not even gonna wait for you to put the answer in the chat. The real answer should be you in your home. The answer is because when a lot of these guys come up and say, "Man, Mark, I gotta take care of home." No, when you become a business person, to be honest with you, home don't come before the business. And some people gonna listen to me and be like, "What are you talking about?" Well, then that means you don't really care about your business. The business comes first. How can you put home doesn't cover the cost of the business. The business covers the cost of home. So where does the priority lie? Home ain't taking care of the business. The business is taking care of home. So where does the priority lie? When people grow either too fast or they grow and expand without the proper resources too prematurely, it just ends up destroying the business entirely. Another way people rob from the sustainability of their business is ignoring maintenance. You know why they ignore maintenance? Because they've been robbing from the sustainability of the business the whole time. And then when things arise, they don't have the cash flow to take care of things. They hear little things knocking and whistling and clunking and stuff, and they ignore it. And they continue to ignore it. And I'm going to take care of this when I get this. But then when they get that, they got to take care of home. So they ignore and they neglect to invest in the main asset, the truck. These short-term decisions lead to long-term headaches, long-term consequences. You see a lot of people that come into the business, get it out the mud, they come in, no working capital. They cut a lot of corners to save money. They come in robbing from the sustainability of the business off back. This is why the longevity, there is none. These are the individuals you see come in and go out. These are the individuals that you hear that say trucking is trash and ain't no money in the trucking business, and the box truck business is trash, and the cargo van business is trash, and it ain't no money, so on and so forth. These are those individuals. Hit the like button. See, they're not going to tell you they didn't come in with a business plan. They had no working capital. They didn't look at it like a business. They treated it like a hustle. These are those individuals. What did I used to say all the time back in the summer? You find me an individual that complains, I'll show you someone who doesn't know what it costs to operate their business. You find me an individual that complains, that says any of those things that I just said, I guarantee you, and I proved it. Remember, I was going on a proving spree. I'll show you someone that does not know how much it costs to operate their business. Because a person that knows what it costs them to truly operate their business, they're not going to make outlandish claims like that. It's just trash for those individuals because they don't know what it costs. They don't understand it. They don't have a plan. They don't have any capital, no cash flow. So it's trash to them. It's not trash to everybody because there's people out here winning. Those are the people that understand what it costs. Those are the people that understand the importance of cash flow. Those are the people that understand the importance of having a plan, a business plan. Those are the people that understand the importance of diversification. Those are the people who scale gradually and not prematurely. Those are the winners. Those ain't the people that's gambling with their business. You got a lot of people that gamble with their business. And I'm not talking about gamble at the casino. No, I'm talking about gamble. Like, get it out the mud. To say, yo, we're get it out the mud, we come from the struggle. Man, we don't need no working capital. That's a gamble. This ain't the casino business. This is the box truck business. And even the casino business has enough working capital every single day. Why? Because it's regulated and the government requires it. Because you never know who's going to walk into that casino. It's people out here that can walk into a casino and tear a hole in their ass. That's why the government requires, on a day-to-day basis, depending on the state law, casinos have to have a certain amount of money every single day in cash. What if Elon Musk decides to walk in the casino? Which will probably never happen, but let's say he does. And let's say he doesn't walk into a casino in Vegas. Let's say he walks into a riverboat in Gary, Indiana, or one of them riverboats in Mississippi, or one of them riverboats. Obviously, a casino on the Las Vegas Strip is going to be regulated to have more in cash than a riverboat in a small market. So let's say Elon walks into a riverboat in a small market. Do you think if Elon sat down at the roulette table or sat down at the blackjack table or the craps table and he was winning and he was betting table max and he just had a good run, do you think he got enough money to tear a hole in that casino that day? Absolutely. So even an industry and a business that does gamble, they have working capital. They're not just opening their doors hoping, man, you know what? Man, we hope everybody lose today because, man, if 50 people win, we screwed. Man, everybody got to lose today because, man, we just ain't got enough money to pay people if people come in here and win. That don't even make sense. So you're running a box truck business on a whim? I don't get it, bro. You running cross country. Listen, I've talked to people that are running cross country. That's running to finish the load so it can get factored so that they can put fuel in the tank. So that means that's an individual that has nothing. So that means if something were to happen in between point A to point B, and we've had people like that come up on the channel, they fucked. Excuse my language. You're running to get to finish the load, to get it factored so you can get fuel, diesel, to go do the next run. So that means you got your fingers crossed, because if anything happens from point A to point B, it's people out here like that, bro. Every single day. There's people watching right now. Now, if you're in that situation because, you were once doing things right and then just life hit you some unforeseen situations, that's one thing. But if you started like this, then that's get it out the mud. I understand sometimes life happens. So we not talking to those people. And even that's a risk. But if you a person who's been doing things the correct way and then just unforeseen situations keep happening, you're trying your best, you're doing everything right, but you just can't catch a break, and you are in the situation where you're doing what you have to do, then we can forgive that a little bit. Not much, but a little bit, because we understand. But if you get it out the mud trucking and this is how you started because you don't know any better, and when somebody tells you better, it goes in one ear out the other, you are the individual who gets a load, factors it, Zells money, tricks off, pays personal things, robs from the sustainability of business, doesn't take care of the business first. I'm talking about that person. You're a gambler. You're gambling with your business. And these decisions always come back to haunt people. It's going to catch up with you. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And no matter how many scenarios we show, real life case studies from people that have had just a variation of different situations, from an exorbitant tow cost and being stuck without having the money to pay, talking about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 tow, to people running out of fuel, not having money, and just being stuck for a couple days, to a guy that was stuck up in Buffalo, New York back in September for 2 weeks that watches the channel. This guy's sitting at a truck stop for 2 weeks. But then when I showcase this stuff, you got people that come into the comment getting mad. No, these are real life situations that can ultimately help and prevent someone else from making the same mistakes. These are real life situations that should help an individual that's coming into this business or that's already in this business that needs to change their mindset, understand the importance of why cash flow is important. There's a guy this morning in the Discord driving on an icy road, had his camera on while he was in the Discord. One of these highways, I think he's headed east, the whole road was icy. It's just semi-truck and box truck and car after semi-truck and box truck in ditches. With that many vehicles on that road, I don't know which interstate it was, it's a high likelihood that a lot of those people are going to be sitting there for a while. Now, we don't want anything like that to happen, but it's a situation. Why? Because it's happening right now. Imagine not having any working capital, being that guy that's trying to get to that, drop that load off so that you can factor it so you can get some fuel. But now this happens. Something beyond your control. You could be going 30 miles an hour. You hit some black ice. This is the it happens. And it's crazy. People be like, oh, you don't need working capital. I'm not going back and forth with those types of individuals no more. Because those individuals that say that, they're going to have a haunting experience. Not something that we hope, but it's something that's inevitable. Trucks are meant to make money and break down. Those are the two things that they're meant to do. Make money and break down. It's going to happen. And just because you're dedicated and you have something dedicated, a contract, it doesn't mean you won't lose it. And you can lose it indirectly. I've lost contracts indirectly. Why? Because the 3PL lost it to from the retailer. They could have got outbidded by a bigger 3PL. My company could have been performing great, but the other companies and the other independent contractors throughout the country, if it's in a national contract that this 3PL has, they could be performing. They're scored as well. They have a metric system as well. If Lowe's is using XPO on a national level, and you could be performing great, but on a national level, if the contract is not performing good, it's performing poorly, and let's say JB Hunt Final Mile comes in and they outbid them, when the contract is up with XPO, it's a possibility they could go over to JB Hunt. And now you might have been a master contractor with 5 trucks in XPO doing Lowe's, but they lost it. And they only gave you 30 days notice. They knew 3 months ago that the contract wasn't renewed. I've been through this situation before with XPO. I had a contract with Urban Express for IKEA. I had that same contract with Dynamics. I followed that contract 3 different companies. The first time Dynamics lost it to Urban Express. I found out through the grapevine. They didn't even tell us. So there was some downtime because I had to go reapply. When I reapplied, they didn't give me the same guarantee that Dynamics was giving me. They gave me $75 less. Cool. Shortly after that, XPO acquired Urban Express. Now, we didn't lose it because it was through acquisition, but some months down the line, after we were running with XPO through the acquisition, it was just one day, it was Urban Express, and then the next day it was XPO. But once XPO got in there and they started, switching things to the way they wanted to do things, a few months down the line, it was my turn to go in and talk to the people at XPO. Look, we're not paying you a guarantee. We don't care what Urban Express was giving you. This is what we're paying. We're going to pay you per stop. And we need you to add this $3 million umbrella to your policy. So not only were they going to pay me less, I had to pay more in insurance. So you know what I did? Walked away. It wasn't worth it. Even my broker, when I sent them the verbiage over, I sent them the verbiage over just to add it. We could deal with the stops. The stop count, as long as we were getting the stops, it would have put me right where we're at with Urban Express. And I didn't expect the insurance to be so much more. When he hit me up, he said, "Man, is this contract worth it?" He didn't give me the quote yet. I said, "Is that bad?" He said, "Man." And when he told me, we did the math and we walked away. Shout out to Great Polo. Appreciate that. Super chat.
Sweet.
We walked away because it no longer became profitable for me to run that contract anymore. Something that you have to prepare for. You know what I ended up doing? I ended up taking at that particular time, I didn't want to lose the guys, right? It was phone book time. So I ended up doing phone books at a loss for a short period of time while I was going through the onboarding process with another 3PL. You know what? Kept those trucks and going and kept those guys paid, the cash flow that the business had. I didn't think that a month or 2 months or 3 months or however long it was after that acquisition, we were going to get called and I had to drive out to Bolingbrook. I'll never forget it. I had to drive out to Bolingbrook. This is not something that they wanted to handle over email. It's not something that they wanted to do over the phone. I had to go to Bolingbrook. Was it Bolingbrook or was it Woodridge? It was off 55. I think I was out in Bolingbrook. Yeah, it was Bolingbrook. It's not something that I was expecting to happen. I thought that we were just going to keep rolling. They acquired it. We're just going to keep rolling. Instead of the guys wearing the Urban Express shirts, they gave them all gray button-down XPO shirts. All right. And it was like that from the day that the acquisition happened. It was like that for the first few weeks. I think it was like the month 2 or month 3 when they finally, something that I wasn't expecting. Now imagine if there was no cash flow. Would have lost the guys. Truck would have been parked. Go look for new sources of income for those trucks. Now what? Got to hire new people. The cost associated with it, which is fine. But I'd rather keep guys that were already trusted, that were already trained, and just let the cash flow carry us over. Because those phone books didn't pay shit. But it kept those guys working. You need cash flow. Lack of financial discipline, and I know we kind of touched on it a little bit before, but I kind of want to expound on it a little bit more. It could be due to not understanding how to budget. Budgeting is very key with a business. If you're running a business and you don't have a clear budget, that's not good. You have to account for expenses. You got to account for taxes. You have to account for potential growth. You have to account for even employees, right? And this is something I talked on before. As far as raises is concerned, like you have to have that buffer there. Like if you got a guy that's working and he's doing a great job and he's there 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, if you don't approach that individual is definitely eventually going to approach you. Cost of living is going up. People that know their worth and know their value, especially in small companies, if you are running a small business, which you are, whether it be 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks, even 10 trucks, those guys that work there, they know their value. They know where they rank amongst their coworkers and their peers. And the guys that come in and do what they're supposed to do, and they go above and beyond, and they're at work and they're on time, and there's there's no claims, and they're just not a person that gives you trouble. If you don't have some sort of review time frame set up, whether it be 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and you don't approach them proactively, eventually they're going to approach you. And you have to make sure that there's enough margin there to provide some sort of raise. You have to factor that into your budget as well. A lot of people don't do that. They get mad when a person comes to them and asks them for more money. A person's not going to work for you forever with what you started paying them when you first hired them. Eventually, the person gonna want to raise. And if it's a good worker, a good employee, it's probably in your best interest to give it to them. It costs money to train people. It costs money to hire people. The money that you're going to be spending to train and hire a new person, added with the downtime of not having a driver because you let this driver go, is going to end up costing you more money than, for that short period of time than if you would have just gave this guy this 3% or this 5% bump or whatever it is that they were asking for. So you have to, have a budget and understand all the potential costs that lie ahead. A lot of people need to set boundaries too. That's something I see as an issue, especially these guys with these personal withdrawals. I see a lot of people do personal withdrawals. Not something that I'm fond of, but it's your business. Do what you want, but I don't see boundaries set. People need to set boundaries. I told you what's going to happen this month, the taxes. Set money aside. I think if a lot of people hired a CPA, especially their first 3 years, the CPA is going to help coach and guide you along the way. A lot of people refuse to pay a CPA. If you're a single owner operator, I think it's your best interest, especially initially, just hire a CPA. I mean, the cost that you're paying them monthly to manage your books, it's a write-off anyway. The more they have to do, the bigger your company is, the more employees, the more payroll, the more they have to manage, the higher it's going to be the cost. If you're just a single owner operator, I think it would be in your best interest. Let them manage your books throughout the year. So when tax time comes around like now, you're not scrambling. Streamline all your credits and debits and just send them the statements every month. Simple. They're accounting for you all year. When corporate filings are due in March, you go in, you sign a paper. First year, if you got a good CPA and they're guiding you along the way, they're going to guide you where you're probably not going to have to pay anything in taxes. This is why it's very important that you have a professional that knows how to write off certain things, and when you're keeping tabs, and why everything is streamlined, and why you're not robbing from the sustainability of the business. I've always been a guy to streamline things. And I know there's a lot of people, I got a maintenance guy. Never had a maintenance account. Whatever truck needed to be maintained, the business account, the account is always cash flow. If there's been times where I've had a couple trucks in service. You have cash flow. If you are a good budgeter, you won't have any issues with capital. All right? Keep it in your mind that a business with no cash flow, you pretty much don't have a business. Your biggest nightmare shouldn't be Freddy Krueger. It shouldn't be Jason. It shouldn't be none of this other stuff that scares you half to death when you close your eyes. What always has scared me is running out of cash flow. You never want to run out of cash flow. Never. You need that discipline. But getting back to taxes, streamline your credits and your debits. I rarely talk to my CPA. We just send them the statements every month. And when they get the statements, they're itemizing everything. Why? Because nothing went out personal. Everything is for the business. So they could see, the accounting, his firm. They already know to itemize that under accounting. Universal premium. They already know that's fuel. They already know what payroll is because they're doing it. Xfinity, they know what that is. That's internet, cable. So on and so forth. They know what companies we use for repairs. If they see a tire company, they know it was tires. And whatever they didn't know, they would call and get clarification. Hey, Mark, I see a big purchase. I threw a Christmas party. My first Christmas party I threw at a strip club. Never did it again. My first year where I made a shit ton of money, I threw a Christmas party. It was a great write-off. It was in December, end of the year. I threw it at KOD. I got a call. Mark, what is King of Diamonds? Oh, man, it was a Christmas party. Oh, it was a Christmas party? All right, cool. Click. Itemized it under entertainment. Was it food and entertainment? Something like that. When tax time came, taxes were pretty much already prepared. Just sign. And then the fee for doing the taxes just added to my next bill for the next month. It was just an automatic draft because it's an automatic draft. It's how it came out. If you are not financially disciplined, I think you should hire someone who can help you get on track. Listen, I'm telling you, January and February, I get bombarded with tax shit in the chat. And this is why I don't do tax content. The first year of me being on YouTube around tax season, I did tax content. And I said I'd never do it again. I didn't do it last year. I'm not doing it this year. Because so many people ain't been doing what's in their best interest. Somebody came up on the channel last year. I ain't going to say who. He probably watching 4 years in the trucking business. Never did taxes. He said, I'm going to do them this year coming up, which is now. 4 years, never did taxes. Get it out the mud. You have to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. You know, it's not a hustle. It's a business, and you want to have some form of longevity. You can't keep treating these box truck businesses like it's a hustle. And that's it, man. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse because this shit, it gets kind of like these conversations is depressing to me, man. For real, because I have to have it like every 3 months, and it's starting to get really depressing to me that you have to tell people things like this. Like, I don't understand it. It gets depressing that I have to have debates on why working capital is necessary. Somebody sent me something this morning. I ain't gonna say what it was, but it was from a content creator, pretty much telling people what to do if they were down to their last money. So forget paying rent. Like, I don't understand like what people. This is crazy to me, bro. But you know what? I got, people threw the bullets at me when I told uh Buddy to pay his rent versus take the risk. So forget the baby, forget the heat, forget the electricity, just run the risk and potentially be homeless. This is where we at, man. This is America, man, in 2025, man. I get it. Now, after yesterday, I see why it's a lot of tents popping up. I'm gonna go get some tents. I'm gonna go get some tents today. Tomorrow I'm gonna go buy some tents. I'm gonna buy some tents tomorrow. And I'm gonna get some tents away. I swear to God, I'm gonna buy some tents. Anybody want a tent, let me know. I'm gonna go buy them tomorrow. I swear. I'm gonna buy some nice tents too. All right, let me see this question, bro. And then I'm. Can I recommend a good CPA? Find one in your market. Find one in your market. You want to go sit down with them. So wherever you live at, Google some, maybe look at some reviews on some, and find one in your market that you can go sit down with. Sit down face to face, look across the table. So when they do your taxes, this is a person that you can ask all the questions. So find one in your market. I don't know where you live at, but find one in your market. Just don't find anybody. If you know someone that has a successful business, not no half-ass business, like a real successful business. See if you can get a referral first. If you don't know anyone that can refer you to a good CPA, then start doing your Googles. Go through your Googles, find 3 people based on the reviews and things of that nature, and then start making phone calls and then use your best judgment. Somebody said something about $500. If I was down to my last $500, I wouldn't go get an LLC. I was down to my last $500, I would have to make that $500 work for me. I still have to eat. I still have to live. So that 500 would stretch to go start a business that would consume. Like, how would I don't understand. If I had $500 technically to go get an LLC. All right, so I get the LLC and then what? Now I got $350. What I'm gonna do with the $350? I can't rent a truck. I can't get an MC because if I go get the MC, that's $300. So now I don't have the money to go. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I ain't seen that, but whatever. Like, that don't make sense. If I got a nickel and that's all I got, I'm in survival mode. I gotta eat. I need a roof. You don't gotta send me that shit. I don't want to see no shit. I don't watch ignorant shit like that, bro. You ain't gotta send it to me. All right, you could, yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to watch it. I wouldn't watch no shit like that. Should you factor that raising? So you should already have a profit margin, and you just understanding that over a period of time, if you're not doing things to or finding ways to lower your cost, eventually your profit margin is going to shrink based on giving raises, right? So depending on how much your profit margin is, you know what I'm saying? If you have a good sizable profit margin, giving somebody a raise here and there, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to lower your profit margin, but you kind of offset that by finding ways to continuously cut cost. So now if you're in the moving business, then obviously, labor is going to go up over a period of time. But you have scalability over there because you're dealing directly with the consumer. And then depending on the markets you are in and where you're at in the industry is where you set your rates to compete. So, if you're charging $100 an hour for two guys, right? And you're making 100% revenue on that because you're charging 100, you're paying 50 an hour on the labor, and then 6 months a guy wants, or a year a guy wants a $5 raise, and he's a great guy. You haven't had any claims. This guy is a guy that's very efficient. He's going above and beyond. He's not taking excessive smoke breaks because he doesn't smoke. He's not a guy that you always have to go look for. He's a guy that's humping. That's a guy that, look, I'm gonna give him the nickel. I'm not really tripping on paying this guy $30 an hour. So okay, so now I'm making $5 less. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not gonna lose a guy for $5 to go hire some new guy, and then the first week I got 2 claims. So in a situation like that, you have a sizable profit margin. You're 100% markup off the labor alone. And even there's still other ways where you can cover the cost, right? Because you're charging a truck fee, you're making money there. If you're licensed and you're charging for materials, you're making about 20% markup there. So it all kind of depends on what you're running. Final mile, same thing. Maybe not as much margin, but depending on what you're doing, final mile. So you have and this is where a lot of guys with final mile, they mess up because they ultimately, a lot of the final mile guys that I talk to are not paying their guys enough money. They're paying them not enough money, which is why their turnover is high. You have enough money in final mile if you're doing things the right way and your costs are efficient, that, man, a driver, even at a $650, $700 guarantee, a driver, you could easily pay him $200 a day. The problem is a lot of people expect to make more to their pocket than the labor of the driver and the helper combined. And if you're thinking that, then you're thinking completely wrong. The driver and the helper is going to outweigh what you're going to make at the end of the day. The key is to keep people in the truck and keep the wheels rolling. But even there's still enough, because if you're walking away with $150, $175, and then 6 months to a year, you got to spend another $25. All right, well, shit, now you're making $150, $125. If that's the case, I'm just throwing numbers out there. Still profiting because it's a guarantee every day. It's dedicated, and you're walking away with something every day. The key in this industry is volume, and I think that's what a lot of people just don't understand. I say it, I don't really expound on it because it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. And then they're going to say, oh, you're a Debbie Downer. The key is volume. The lifestyle that a lot of people really want to live based off trucking, not a person who wants to live modestly, a person who wants to live that life based on what they see, you have to scale. If you are running one truck, you're not going to be able to sustain the business, put a driver in there, or if you're running final mile, put 2 people in there, pay them, sustain the business, cover the cost of the business, and then pay yourself and cash flow the business and expect that everyone is going to be taken care of comfortably. No, it's not going to be enough money. It's just not going to be enough. And I think that's where the problem comes in at. The key is scale. It's just a lot of people can't get to scale for a lot of the reasons that we talked about. The guys, like the video I was talking about at the beginning, the lifestyle that he was talking about, because he didn't mention anything about empowering others or quality of life. He mentioned shopping sprees, big houses, cars, and trips, right? The lifestyle, like, he wants to live based on what he's seeing, because he kept throwing out other content creators, not in this space, but like the CJs and all that shit. Like, to acquire that in this industry, you got to scale. You're not going to acquire what that guy was talking about from other content creators that aren't even in this space. You're talking about lifestyle content creators with these big houses and these cars and the clothes with one truck. You're just not. That's an individual that's at scale. If that's what you're looking to acquire, like this particular guy, I'm not going to say his name. He's been on the channel before. But what he thinks he's going to get with one van, and he's in a van, or even at scale, to acquire what he's talking based on what he said in the video, you're talking about a multitude of vans, more than 10, more than 20. Why? Because in that spectrum of logistics, vans, the margins are even smaller. A lot smaller than a box truck. Realistically, to do, and this is on a local level, I'm not talking about OTR, what 4 box trucks can do final mile, right, gross in a year, it's going to take more than 10 vans to do that on a local level. A lot more competition. A lot of those contracts locally are paid per piece. There's a lot of bidding that goes on, especially like those laser ship on track. You got to bid. What do you think the profit margins are for DSPs? It's really, really low. You'll think a person that's running 30 vans is a millionaire, making $1 million a year. No. Person that's running 20, 30 vans in Amazon is paying himself about $80, $90, $100,000. They're grossing 2 to 3 million. The margins are low, very low. They don't even get us, they can't even contribute to reducing their margins because they have no say so. All the way down to what the drivers get paid. It's already set for them. But yet and still you find a lot of those DSPs that file for bankruptcy due to unforeseen situations, because when you're working on very, very low profit margins, your business acumen has to be on a certain level. Your cash flow has to be there too. But I'm listening to a guy this morning in a video. They showed me and somebody come on channel, a guy ranting about becoming a millionaire so he could take trips and all this goofy shit with a van. This is where people want to do and why they want to get in this business. Because they look at other people and they see what they're showing them on the internet and they think business is the ticket to it. And it can be. But you can tell the people that have a realistic plan versus the ones that don't. Where are we at? Where's this at? All right, so we got, what's the biggest mistake new box truck owners? We got 115 votes. All right, so at 51%, ignoring operational cost. Ignoring operational cost is not the answer. In second place, robbing from business funds. It's not the answer. In third place, not reinvesting profits properly. That's the answer. That's the answer. We'll close that out. Mark, after having the setup, let me read it over here. I can't see. With your holding company own your LLCs, what kind of trust that you have to own your holding company? Thanks. I believe this will help other. That's something that I would advise a person to talk to their CPA about. The LLCs and the S-Corps and how people set up, that's something I always advise, and holding companies, for them to talk to their CPA, because it's going to be different for everybody. It all depends on what you plan on doing in the future. So when people come to me and they say, man, Mark, should I go LLC or S-Corp? Based on, them listening to me and what I've done, first thing I say is, well, do you plan on being a single owner operator or do you plan on scaling? Now, if they plan on being a single owner operator for the duration of their tenure, then that's something that, okay, a LLC would suffice. But even still, I tell those individuals to go speak to, a CPA, right? If you plan on going or scaling, then, I would recommend a person go S-Corp. Now, when it gets to trust and holding companies and things like that, that's going to depend on each individual person, not something that I'm going to give advice on. I'm not qualified to give that type of advice. So, it said glorified supervisor. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. All of the above could be a choice, and it's all how you look at the context of what it was. That's why I said it was kind of a trick question. Nope. Would I open up a lending corp for startups? Nope. You could put in the contract that failure to pay loans back results in forfeit. Nope. Mm-mm. It just wouldn't be a good business idea. Why? Because most businesses fail. I wouldn't do it. I know there's companies that do it. They see the I just, in order to lend person money for a business, especially for a new business, it would have to be predatory with the understanding that there's a high likelihood that the individual is going to fail. You go into it knowing that most likely, so you're investing into something where you have to be predatory on an individual with the assumption that 9 times out of 10 that they're gonna fail. That's just like I ain't. That's just not a bit. That's just not something I would be interested in. That's not something I would be interested in. Is it possible for someone to just be a low broker? I mean, if you want to be a broker, you just want to be a broker. Brokering and carriers like two different things. So brokering doesn't really have anything. It they're the person that deals with the carrier. They're the liaison between the carrier and the shipper. So if you were to ask me, do you have to, if you started a business, do you need the driver? Could you put somebody in the driver's seat to drive for you? I think that would probably be a better question because I mean, a broker is a broker. It's not like it's associated with a carrier, but it's not directly associated with. That's two different business models. That's what the answer is. It's two different business models, both associated with logistics, but it's two different business models. Now, like I said, if you would have asked me, man, Mark, you think I should? I'm starting a trucking business. You think I should drive the truck, or you think I should get a driver? That would be a better question. But a broker and a carrier is two totally different business models. So if you want to be a broker, just go be a broker. I think a good way to learn how to be a broker is go work for a brokerage. Go work for C.H. Robinson or TQL or, start entry level at Schneider or one of the big companies as a broker, brokering internally with their lease on guys or whatever the case may be. So now if you want to be a carrier, then I would say, yeah, definitely drive your own truck first before you put a driver in it so you know the ins and the outs of the business. I've always done S-Corp. When I went and I structured my business, I told my CPA my plans. I had a business plan. So with my business plan, he said an S-Corp is right for you. And he explained to me why. And he just gave me little tidbits. Like one of the things he told me in that meeting was like, always be the president, never be the CEO. And just an employee, you want to indemnify me and all my personal assets from any liability associated with the company. That's why I'm not really big on like ownership and things like that. Like I've never been a person to flaunt that. It's not something that it's just never been my forte. Like after, listening to him breaking everything down to me and then going through situations like being sued and things like that, it further helped me to understand the importance of it and why it was set up. So, I've always acted as an employee. So that's why I did S-Corp. I had the intentions on scaling. So, you know, but that's why I say you should go to your CPA and explain what you want to do. See, the issue is when people set their business up, they just all set them up as an LLC because that's what's promoted on the internet. They don't understand there's other structures of business: S corp, C corp, LLC, so on and so forth, even LLP. You know, so this is something that you should consult with. And but when you consult with like your CPA or whoever's setting it up for you, you already need to have a business plan in place so that you could tell them your plans. Like I'm not gonna, me personally, and this is as far as I'm gonna go because I don't like talking about this because this is not something that I don't want to influence people's decisions on because it's something you need to do on your own. I'm not setting up a trucking company if I plan on scaling. I'm not gonna set up as an LLC. I'm just not. That's me personally. I got my personal reasons why. Yeah. So I'm always going to be an employee, especially at scale. I want a W-2. I want a W-2. A high-paid employee with a take-home car. I'm cool with that. A high-paid employee with a take-home car. That's leased under the business. The company provides a company car. I am the highest paid employee, and part of my package is a take home car that the company is leasing. So I ain't, I ain't never been hung up on um ownership. Give me a W-2. Am I trying to get into the automation industry? Not at the current time. Not at the current time. Not at the current time. Uh, yeah, if he was making $1 million a year and he hadn't paid his taxes, yeah, it was only a matter of time. Uh, I don't understand why he wouldn't pay his taxes. I would get my authority to operate until I have a minimum 100K sitting tucked away as FU money. Even then, you could still go bankrupt. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, things can happen. That's why you have to have capital. And I think you should grow gradually. But I get it. A lot of people don't want to start from the beginning. I'm telling you, it's the safest way to start, but I get it. A lot of people want instant gratification. They want an express route to the money. And I get it. People don't have patience. A lot of people start their business later on in life. You got social media that's playing a big part in, the whole instant gratification thing. I thank God every day. I was in the Discord last night and we were talking about something. Oh yeah, we was talking about a lot of people coming into the industry now, and I stopped right there and said, man, I thank God that I started when I did, and I thank God that I exited when I did. Like I came in um at a great time back in 2010, and my exit was at a great time. Like that exit was so perfect. Man, it was perfect. And the more, in hindsight, the more I'm like, God damn it. God was looking out for me, man. He was looking out for me. Now, you can call it luck. I call it skill. Because guess what? It required skill for me to make that decision. Not on the entrance, but on the exit, because I was conflicted. I was conflicted like a mug. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was conflicted, but I just remembered Warren Buffett, and I had to really just put things into perspective. But Warren Buffett's saying really, you know, led the charge and the ultimate decision. And now hindsight, 2 years later, I just thank God, especially with man people. Man, that's tough, bro. That's tough, man. People, I don't know, man. I don't know where people are. I don't know if people going to eventually change their mindset. I don't know, but it's not looking like, as time goes on with like the next generation and so on and so forth. I don't see people's mindsets changing. You got people that are proactively living in tents or living in calling themselves van life. You got people that are calling themselves van life. Like I'm not, that's not something that I'm gonna be proud of and shoot content and show how I make my back seat up at night to go to bed. That's something that I'm gonna cry every night and ask Lord to guide the Lord to guide me. It's not something I'm gonna be shooting content on, trying to monetize and da 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 da. That's something that like I'm gonna cry myself to sleep every night in that back seat and ask the Lord to please guide my steps to get me out of this back seat. So when I just look at stuff like that, it's just like, yo, bro, if I was still out here trying to find people to move trucks, I would be I would be kicking myself because I had an opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity, and I didn't take it. So we was having that conversation last night. I said, man, I thank God. I thank God, bro. Man, I thank God. Like, say what you want. Say what you want. Oh, that was luck. Or you took advantage of people who didn't know any better. Hey, call it what you want. I know one thing. People now, biggest problem that you have. You could have working capital. You could have trucks. You could have contracts. Your biggest issue is going to be people. Finding them, finding good quality people, and keeping them. It's gonna always be something. There's a guy this morning, Jonathan, complaining. He's paying this guy guaranteed 180 a day for about 5 hours of work every day. 180 a day to build gyms. And he said that guy's complaining. He said he didn't expect to get these types of complaints that he's heard me talk about, and then the whole count in the pocket thing. He didn't expect this to be so early. He's seeing everything that I talk about. You may not see it right away, but eventually you'll see it depending on what I'm talking about, at what level of where you're at in the business. He's seeing shit that I've talked about as far as the whole count in the pocket thing and complaining thing. And he's got one employee and he's seeing it. 180 a day, 5 hours of work. It's like $35 an hour, like $30-something an hour. Not satisfied. You could pay a person $50 an hour, not satisfied. During the pandemic, I was paying $50, $60 an hour on some jobs. Didn't really get much complaining. The complaining is what got to the point of the 50 to 60, but there's plenty of margin there. So, yeah, finding people is going to be the toughest thing, man. Finding people. I don't know. I can't, 2 people asked me that yesterday. And I couldn't give them no answer. I said, bro, I can't even give you no answer. Man, scaling. Man, I don't know. People going to be your hardest thing. I've watched fast food restaurants in my market close because they can't find enough people to work. There's McDonald's here that are no longer open. There's other fast food restaurants that are no longer open. There's other places here in my market. You probably seeing them in your market too, that rely on minimum wage workers that have had to close. Not necessarily due to just a change in consumer buying behavior. It's just they can't find enough workers or keep enough workers. There's too much turnover to keep the business open. Everybody, wants this huge, like entry level, like that whole entry level pay. Like no one wants entry level pay anymore. People want to come in and start something at scale, off Ripple. So this is what, business owners are faced with now when you're trying to build a business that relies on people. That, the pay, and then just the whole, OTR person's biggest issue is going to be a combination of pay and home time. A local person's issue, depending if you're doing big and bulky or moving, is going to be the workload in comparison to what they can do for that same amount of money, because there's other opportunities people can do now that can make them $25 or $30 an hour with doing way less physical labor. Something to think about. Person got a car. Look at the guy who came up here a few months ago, the young guy with the kids. 15 hours a day to make $280, 15 hours. Refused to get a job. So he's going to work 15 hours. And this is not to knock him, but I'm just saying there's opportunity. So if I wanted to hire this 30-year-old guy, what was his name, Daniel, and say, hey, come work for me as a mover, I'm going to pay you $25 an hour. 10 hours, he's going to make $250. 10 hours, $250. An individual like that who says, I refuse to work for anyone, he's going to work an extra 5 hours to make an extra $35 so he could say, yo, I'm my own business owner. So even though I'm paying him more, he's making less, but he's making more when you look at the time. That's the mindset of most of the people in the age demographic that you're looking to work for you. I'm going to work extra 5 hours to make $285. I don't want to come lift that. Even though you're paying more and I'm going to save more time. Nah, I'd rather, it ain't even about the labor. It's just the fact that I want to work for me. I don't want to work for you. I'm not going to make you richer. I'm not going to make you rich. I'm not going to help build your business. I can do it by myself. And that's fine. Everybody has entitled to whatever it is they want to do in their opinion, but that's what people are faced. Now, what's what luck? My decision, if that's what you're asking, no, it was strategy. It was skill because I had to make the decision. Because here's the thing: if you're talking about the exit, no, it wasn't luck. It was this. It was this. I had to make the decision. I could have not made the decision I made, and guess what? We wouldn't be talking right now because I'd be kicking myself trying to figure out how to move shit and how to sell shit, and when nobody come to work. So it was a decision I had to make, and that decision was based off education, sitting down, weighing the real deep thought, comparing and contrasting, forecasting. The skill set allowed and enabled me to make the decision that I made. Because I could have made the other decision, and then the question that you're asking me wouldn't even be a question. So that's why I couldn't have been luck. It was skill. Luck is something that and that's something that can't be based. That luck is something that's based by chance, not action. Me playing the lottery, there's no action to ensure that I win. I play, it's a chance that I could win once I play based on the numbers. The numbers, I have no control over that action. I have no control over those balls popping up. I have no control over that particular action. It's all by chance. If I'm in a situation where I am in a pandemic and things are changing, I see the things changing, and a situation presents itself, now I have to make a decision followed by an action. Am I going to take advantage of what's being presented to me? Or am I going to not take advantage and hold out, still not fully understanding what the repercussions and what the after effects of whatever this is? I'm speaking from a person in that situation at that time, not in hindsight. This is what I'm saying at that time. Not understanding what the ramifications and the after effect of whatever this is that we're in, when it's over, do I or don't I? Either way, it's an action. It's not by chance. I have to put forth action. Either way, it's no luck. If I go play $1 tonight, what's that? Today's Saturday, so it's Powerball, and do a quick pick. Even me getting a quick pick is by chance. I'm not picking the numbers, the computer is. I'm not shaking the balls up and picking the balls. It's a robot, or it's automated with the air and whatever that thing is. It's all by chance. It's luck. If you build a business and the business is successful, that's not by chance. That's from the effort that you put in. The physical effort, the mental effort, everything that you did to put yourself in that position. It wasn't by chance. It wasn't luck. You did that. There was sleepless nights. There was blood. There was sweat. There was tears. There were sacrifices. It's not luck. You go down, you sit at the roulette table. And you put $100. My favorite number is 26. It's a 35 to 1 chance that ball gonna land on 26. That's why I pay 35 to 1. I have no control over it when they flip that ball and where it's gonna land. If it lands, it's by chance. 35 to 1. That's why I pay 35 to 1. I put $100. They gonna run me that 30 for 9. That was luck. If I start a YouTube channel and I stream 5 days a week and provide value to a community, build a community, provide value, which brings forth an audience because there's some sort of value there. Invest into the aesthetics as far as the quality, which helps garner an audience. It's not luck. There was effort, there was action. There's some type of value, there's action being applied. Not luck. Because it wasn't by chance. There was action put behind it. Luck is only something that can happen that's something by chance. No. You get a contract. Oh man, I got lucky. They gave me this contract. No, you got the contract because you went in there, you articulated yourself well. Your vernacular was on point in comparison to the other people that came in there. You came in there well dressed. Just because you're in the trucking industry don't mean you go in there looking like a trucker. You came in there, you put some nice shoes on, you put you some slacks on, you came in there looking like a professional. I don't care if this is 2025 and what everybody else is doing. I'm coming in there to win. I sat down, I walked in there with my briefcase. I didn't come in there with papers and my articles and corporations and shit, insurance in my hand. I came in there with a leather portfolio tucked under my arm. I sat down properly, hands folded, not having loud, ghetto ass conversations on my phone in the lobby. Yeah, man, I'm up here at XPO, man. Yeah, finna try to get this contract. Yeah, man, I'm gonna call you back when I get to the land, Joe. All right. Nah, I put my phone on silent. I'm here to take care of business. Whatever it is, the people that are, if any emergency, they know I'm here. They gonna text me. My phone on silent before I walk in there. I'm gonna make sure my hair is presentable. Or make sure I ain't got no shit right here and shit all up in there. Man, you never know what a person that's interviewing you might be looking for. Bro, you will get profiled. I profile people. Ain't nothing wrong with profiling people. You come in there to win. You don't know. You want to make sure you cross all your T's and dot all your I's. It could be the littlest thing. I'll make sure my nails clipped. Man, should we go with the Silver Mountain Spring? Should we go with the Irish green tweed? Should we go Aventus? Should we go Bleecker Street? Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all like, what the hell is he talking about? Should we go Bleecker Street? Should we go Aventus? Should we go green Irish tweed? These are some of my favorite ones. Should we go Silver Mountain? Y'all don't know. Let me see who know what we talking about. What should I do for the occasion? Which is going to be subtle enough? Oh, yeah, because if it's a woman that I got to talk to, who is a woman we got to talk to? All right, let's hit him with this, send him with this Silver Mountain. Nah. Let me hit a little Bleecker Street. Wop. Yeah, that's going to get her. Nigga, all that shit matter. I'm trying to win. And if I'm single, I might try to take her with me. You did. Oh, my girl. You did what I'm saying? So all that matters. See, that's something that somebody wouldn't think about. You know, I'm going to see Tamika, and she the operations manager. She the person who sound for. Oh, let me go and throw on this. Bleecker Street real quick. Let me go ahead. Should I throw on let me throw on the Burberry. Just subtle, not too much. Just the polo. Make sure I leave that top button unbuttoned so you can see that little Burberry print. You did. Throwing that Bleecker Street. You did what I'm saying? We ain't going to overdo it. Throwing them slacks. You did what I'm saying? Get you a leather portfolio. Leather with the zipper. Have all your paperwork inside. Tuck it under your arm. Chin up, chest out. Firm walk. Oh. Firm walk. Chin up. All that shit matter, bro. I'm trying to tell you. That's how I'm walking in them, bro. Because most of the people, they ain't doing none of that. They ain't going in there talking well. They ain't speaking well. They ain't smelling well. They ain't dressing well. They didn't take the time to brush their teeth, look in the mirror before they got out the car, make sure they ain't had no sleepers in their eyes and shit in their corner and all that stuff. Nails dirty. Ashy hands, ain't putting. All that stuff matters, bro. The person who you're meeting with isn't a trucker. They sitting in the office. That culture that you, oh, well, man, I'm a trucker, man. So that's not their culture. Their culture is recruitment. Their culture is HR. Their culture is from an office setting. You don't want to be the guy that when they go in there, when you leave, they get the Lysol Clorox spray and spray the seat down and sterilize it, and then got to spray some Febreze in the place where after you leave. And you know what? After they Febreze the place and grab the Lysol or the Clorox wipes and wipe the seat down, you know where your application gonna go? Right under the desk in the waste paper basket. And then this you gonna be you every week. Hey, can I speak to Tamika? Yeah, it's Tamika. I came up there last week and did an interview for a dedicated contract. Who are you? I had a bunch of interviews last week. Yeah, my name is Darnell from Get It Out the Mud Trucking LLC. Oh yeah, Get It Out the Mud Trucking LLC. Yeah, we're still reviewing it. Is this a great number we can call you back at? Yeah, this my number. All right, we'll update you once we. She asked you that because that's the one that's going on the block list. Don't y'all, when y'all be like, man, the lady y'all gave me at Mark, the lady that you gave me in T-Force, man, it's just been going straight to voicemail. That's why you went on the block list. Because I just got off the phone with her. Or so-and-so I just sent over to just talk to her 2-3 hours ago. You saying every time you call it keep going straight to voicemail? Oh yeah, you on the block list, pimp. You on the block list. Because every 3PL that I've ever went in, and this is what you gotta understand about 3PLs. If there's an ad posted, there's not like an interview. Like every 3PL that I ever went into, like everything was handled when I went there. This is not like a job. They're proactively looking for people. So as long as you have all the credentials, articles of incorporation, tax forms, authority, so on and so forth, everything that they told you to bring there in the first place, they're going to start the process there. I've never had to come back and wait. This is not like a job. This is something that they're proactively, they need contractors and trucks. So once you get that call, and you know how hard it is to even get the first initial contact. So you get the first initial contact and you go there, this begins the beginning of the onboard. If they don't, they tell you to get back to you, then bro, what you on? What you done did? How you done went up in there? Darnell, how you done went up in there? You done went up in there and said, my name is Darnell Jenkins, but my friends just call me Man Man. See, you done went up in there. Let me tell you what you did. You went up in there and you saw Keisha, D-So, and you forgot your purpose. Yeah, you saw Keisha. She had the blouse on, BBL, and you got beside yourself. Yeah, but my friends call me Man Man. Okay, all right, bet. All right, bet. See, you didn't realize Big Mark was there before you. You didn't realize Big Mark was there before you, pimp. Ooh, Big Mark was there. We already scoped out. We knew where her office was, and she had a window that didn't have a curtain. We made sure we pulled up right there. Made sure we did smell good, fresh. Come in, real vernacular, on point. But it was to the point where she knew, oh, he got that other in him too. He got that other. She didn't hear it. It was something real subtle. Oh yeah, I like that guy. See, now that's something I can't teach nobody. That's something that you just gotta, it's just gotta come. That's it, bro. Gotta know how to tell a person what they, gotta be able to sell yourself. Even on the phone. This is something we was talking about yesterday. It might not be a situation where you can physically go to. You have to know how to talk over the phone. A lot of people don't know that. And then they try. It's like you have to be able to sell yourself. You have to be able to sell your service. Like I was telling the guy a month or two ago about uh selling this moving business, booking more moves, because a lot of people complain about the customer acquisition costs when it comes to lead generating, the lead generating cost, customer acquisition, not turning over those leads because they're very costly. It's because you don't know how to sell your business. Listen, you're not when we end this call, you're booked. I'm going to tell you all the shit that you never knew, that you didn't think about to land the job. Don't call my moving company for a first of the month July move and we got a slot open. And it's the 18th or the 19th, which is last minute, really, for a first of the month move for July. I'm going to listen to the scope. I got you. If I got you on the phone, I got you. Yeah, we can do that. Sure. Yep. So we can send 3 guys. It's going to be $150 an hour with a 2-hour minimum. Your move is local, so there will be a $150 truck fee associated with that. They'll cover all the costs outside of the labor. It's a first floor to first floor. The average time with the distance, you're moving within 5 miles. Average time, can't hold me to it, but the average time, as long as things, you got to pause and then swallow your spit. As long as everything goes according to plan, about 2 to 4 hours. We're going to send 3 guys. Now, you did say that you needed to move mid-afternoon. Now, I must tell you, all right, it is the first of the month. And most people's leases are up either the last day or the first day of the month. This is moving season. July 1st is a very, very busy moving day. I would recommend, I have a morning slot available. We had a cancellation. I have a morning slot available. This will ensure that you are the first customer of the day on that particular truck. So there won't, be any hiccups. The truck won't be running behind because you'll be the first person for the day. Because there will, for your size move, we usually put 3 moves on a 16-foot truck. Those 1-bedroom moves require a 16-foot truck. And with moving, I'm pretty sure you moved before. Things do happen. Customers, they kind of misjudge what they have, and they tell us one thing, and then when they get there, once they start packing, they didn't realize they accumulated a lot of things over the past year. So sometimes the trucks do run behind. There's other unforeseen situations that happen as well. So to ensure that none of this happens, I would advise you to take the morning slot to ensure that you're the first person and that your move goes. You know what? I didn't think of all of that. You're right, because last year when I moved, I booked an afternoon, evening move, and these guys were 4 hours late. That makes sense. You know what? I'll move some things around. You know why? Because I really have to move because my lease is up. I need you. I called 3 companies before you, and everyone's saying they're booked. Yeah, because it's the first of the month. It's a very busy moving day, man. Yeah, let's go. Just book it. Yeah, I'm not calling anyone else. Just book it. Do you guys need a deposit? I told her, I spoke to her well, and I told her something that she didn't know to scare her into booking it, which is true. I mean, moving, the later in the day you book, especially on the first of the month, last of the month move, the later in the day, the more possibilities of the truck running behind schedule. Anybody that's in the moving industry knows that anything can happen. Like literally, I've had situations, like literally one of the biggest situations that I had was a move where there was no alley, the street was narrow, so there was no park. There was nowhere to park, so we had to double park. And cars could get past, but if another moving truck or a FedEx or a UPS or a garbage truck came past, we had to pull up the ramp, close the door, and go around the block. It was one of those long blocks. For everybody in Chicago was up north on the north side off of Broadway and Argyle, I believe. I had to Do that 19 times. 19 times. That side of town, a lot of traffic, busy moving season, garbage trucks, FedEx, UPS. I had to do that shit 19 times. And each time it added more time. Beyond our control, had to be done. Customer couldn't get mad. She knew there's nowhere to, we can double park here and move the truck every time, or we can park all the way down at the corner and have to walk all this shit on four-wheelers all the way down, which is going to take longer. It's one or the other. So I'd rather be closer and go around than park on the corner and like, no. So you got to know how to sell a customer. You got to listen to what a customer has and know how to lock them in. You have to speak well. You have to speak properly. You have to know your industry. The customer is going to know that you know what you're talking about based on how you talk about it. Give experiences. So you got to be able to sell. You got to be able to sell yourself. I don't like, I ain't never had an issue being able to sell myself or sell the business. I tell a person what they need to lock them in. I tell them what they need to hear to lock them in. You know, so customers don't, you know, they don't do this. So they'll think or like this. Here's another one. Hi, I'm moving from a high rise downtown to another high rise downtown. I'm moving from the 60th floor of the Trump Plaza to the 80th floor in the Hancock building. Oh, it should only take 2 hours. It's a 1-bedroom and it's an elevator. Customers think an elevator building is quick. An elevator building takes longer. Well, ma'am, it's going to take more than 2 hours. I recommend 3 guys. Well, I only need 2. It's a 1-bedroom. And it's an elevator to an elevator. Well, ma'am, I recommend 3 guys, and here's why. Elevator buildings actually take longer. How is that? Well, because the movers have to touch the items more than once. With a walk up, they're moving it straight from the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor, the 1st floor, down the stairs directly into the truck. With an elevator building, they have to move it from your unit, and depending on how far your unit is from the freight elevator, they have to move it from your unit into the freight elevator, load the freight elevator, go down 50 flights or 80 flights, down to the loading dock, and depending on where the truck is at the dock to where the freight elevator is, I've had some buildings where the walk, once you get down to the dock, was half a block. You got some people that live in some of these buildings that are on all 4 square corners of the goddamn block where you get up to their floor and you might have to walk a half a block down, then turn the hallway and go another half a block down. So now you're using 4-wheelers and speed packs and everything. And you got to make that walk to the freight elevator. Ma'am, you need 3 guys. Elevator buildings take longer because the movers have to touch the stuff twice. You're moving into the John Hancock. We're going to spend 30 minutes getting into the building with security. Why is that? Well, because it's the John Hancock building. The first 44 flights are commercial. Once we get in, they sniff the truck with dogs. We have to submit they have to clear and make sure that the building was added as additionally insured. So they have to make sure that the COI is on file. Once they give us the clearance, then we have to wait for the engineer to give us a doc. We back in, then they got to give us all the rules, and we got to give them our IDs, and then they got to give us badges, and then they got to block the elevator off if it's not already blocked off, and then they got to call the engineer to pad it. Then this type of building, they're going to lay masonite down from the elevator all the way down to the unit. And because you're in the John Hancock, we got to go up 44 flights on the first elevator. Then we got to move all the stuff off that freight elevator, take it down to down the hallway to another elevator, which takes us up to the residential unit. So we got to load an elevator, unload the elevator, take it down the hallway, load another elevator, and then go up another 40-something flights, take it off the elevator, and then go all the way down the hall. That's going to take time. How do you think I know this, ma'am? Because I've been in that building plenty of times and I know the process. It's going to take 20 minutes for the security guard at the security shack before we go down the ramp to call wherever the office is in the building to make sure that the COI is on file before the truck can even go into the building. This is what they say. Park across the street and come back over. You'll pull in to go into the John Haggis, go down the ramp. Hey, do me a favor. Back out, park across the street, walk back over here. Why? Because it's trucks coming in. They want to make sure you got the COI. All right, hold on. What's the name of the company? Let me see your ID. Yeah, we got Get It Out the Mud Trucking Movers here. What unit? 8802. Move on file for 8802. All right, yeah, calling to see if the COI is on file. You on hold waiting. Then you get the clearance. All right, hey Bob, we got a scheduled move out. Yeah, it's the elevator block. What dock door? You gotta wait on Bob. All right, man, do me a favor. Turn your lights on, turn your hazards on. You're gonna go all the way down to level 2, lower level 2. All right, you're gonna make a right when you get down there. You're gonna back into the dock. Bob will be down there to meet you. Then Bob wanna, you know, and that's it. You know, before they was sniffing the truck with the dog. You go to Amtrak here. See, I did moves to Amtrak. Listen, I've moved people on Amtrak before. Like we've loaded up their shit and taken it to the Amtrak because Amtrak actually does moves. They will move freight on the train with the passengers. I've done plenty moves to Amtrak, to and from. Same situation. Gotta wait. You pull up to the guard shack. Yeah, here to drop off or here to pick up. All right, do me a favor. Pull over to the side. Yeah, we got a truck coming in. Da 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 da. You gotta wait for the Amtrak police to come with the canines. Might be 15, might be 20, might be 30 minutes. They come, they smacking the dog on the nose. Look, all under the truck, all behind the truck. Open the door, get dog jumping all up in the truck, smelling and shit. So you never know what you're up against. You know, so. And all that takes time. Those are things that, you know, customers don't know, especially when you're charging them by the hour because they don't do this. They don't know the inner workings of what your job entails. So you have to explain it to them when you're selling it, you know, selling your service to them so that they know. And then this is how you prevent customers getting upset with you too, because they're thinking one thing in their head because they're ignorant. They don't know any better. Oh, well, I'm moving from the 50th floor to the 80th floor. It's a 1-bedroom. Should only take 2 hours. But when it takes 5, they don't understand why. And if you don't articulate that to them, like if you know the industry and you know your market and you know the buildings, that's something that you want to articulate to them when they're telling you this, so they already have this in mind. And if you articulate it like how I just did, it makes sense. We're touching this stuff a multitude of times. That makes them think, you know what? I do live way around the corner from where the freight elevator is. I didn't think of that. Yeah, and the dock where the truck is going to be parked from where the freight elevator is on the ground level. That is kind of far. You know what? When I did do the showing over at the Hancock, they did mention something about having to use 2 elevators. So you guys have been in this building before because I did hear the agent that showed me the unit that there was 2 elevators. Yeah, it's 2 elevators. We have to load 1 elevator, go up the 44 flights, and then unload because the first 44 flights are commercial, load another elevator, which is the residential elevator. There's another building here that I've done plenty moves in on Grand and State. Same thing. It's I think it's 600 North State 500 North State or 600 North State, I can't remember. But there's a Jewel Osco grocery store on the ground level, and then it's units above. So the grocery store dock where they get all the groceries and the moving trucks and the garbage, they all share this same little, and this is downtown Chicago. So it's not like a multitude, like everybody has to share the same thing. So if the garbage man comes, then we got to move the truck out. But guess what? The grocery elevator and what they use, we have to go through the not the stock, but where the trucks get unloaded for the grocery store. Go in that elevator, load that elevator, go down, unload, load another elevator to go up to the units. I used to hate that building. When I was on the truck, I hated that building. Because that building, it was time consuming. Loading an elevator, to have to unload it, to have to take that shit off, go down this long hallway, to put shit on an elevator, to go down, to unload it, to put it on another elevator, to go up. That shit is crazy to me. And that's not the only, but there's another building, Presidential Towers. If you're moving in one of the towers, it's 4 towers. It's one of the towers you go in. If I think it's tower 1 or 3, you got to go, I can't remember, load the elevator, go down, unload the elevator, carry the shit across the basement to go to tower 4 elevator to go up. It's the stupidest shit. There's quite a few buildings downtown Chicago that are like that. There's some buildings that do an inspection. They require a security guard there when moving things in and out to inspect for bed bugs. Each item, man, which building was that? Each item that we brought in, there was a person that had to look at the stuff. That takes time. That takes time. So that takes time. And you have to, if you've dealt with these buildings before, it's reassuring to the customer on the phone that you can tell them the inner workings of the current building that they're in and to the building that you're moving them to, because it lets them know that you have experience with those buildings. So you should be a lot more efficient. That's they like to hear that. So you said you don't work in buildings where, yeah, so a lot of buildings, some of the buildings here, depending on, like some of the affluent areas of downtown, like especially in the Gold Coast, some of those condo buildings like 1000 North Lake Shore, like they're really, really like, in like the real affluent area of the Gold Coast, like they are really snooty when it comes to that. Like the engineer, the doorman will do a walkthrough. Obviously, for obvious reasons. You see anything, you better put it down now. You can't get in these buildings. These ain't the buildings for everybody's. These ain't the buildings. If you're not licensed, you're not getting in these buildings. You got to be licensed. You got to be insured, because none of these buildings you're not getting in the Hancock without a COI. You're not getting in some of these buildings without a COI. Before the customer can book, when they call you, the building wants a COI. And you know what? A lot of people, believe it or not, they call a lot of these companies that they think are licensed, and they're not licensed. They'll call and be like, "Man, I need to schedule a move." All these companies, the buildings require a certificate of insurance, and none of these companies can provide me one. Why is that? I said, because they're not licensed. It's because they have a website and they look good. And they got this team of guys in uniform smiling in front of a truck and smiling. If they can't provide you a COI, they're not licensed. I've been able to book jobs just off being licensed. Fourth or fifth call down the line because none of the guys that the customer called prior could provide a COI. I can't book the move until, yeah, I can have it back to you in 24, 48 hours. Same day if you send it over, but you got to book the move with us. Yeah, I'll book it. All right. Forward me the verbiage. What's the verbiage? Well, they should have forwarded you something in your email. Yeah, they did. All right, forward me that. That's the verbiage. So I can forward it to the broker. The broker can forward it to the insurance company so they can add it as additionally insured. And if the building is requesting to be the certificate holder as well, they add them as a certificate holder. The insurance company will send it back to the broker. Broker send it back to us. We'll forward it back to you. Hopefully we can get it back today or tomorrow. The sooner you send it to me, the better. So even just that has won me a lot of jobs, just being licensed. So it's building out. The only buildings that I haven't been able to get in, because here we have union buildings too. And if it's a union building, then the only service contractors that could come in the building are union companies. And then that's when they got to go with like your Mayflowers and your Wheatons and your Atlases and your Canes and all them companies, those van line companies. So, but yep. So yeah, it's all about just having your business set up and running things the correct way. Yep. So, BR. So when you used to sell security equipment downtown, you had to provide CI. Yeah, a lot of buildings, not it was just like a lot of the condo buildings, but over the years, I saw a lot of apartment buildings um, start to request a COI too, because man, people was coming there tearing shit up. People was coming there tearing shit up, and a lot of apartment buildings, and then the verbiage just got longer and longer and longer. Back in the day, it used to just be they'll add like the property management and like the board of directors, and then they'll add the as additionally insured and the additional insured box, and then they'll put the certificate holder as the unit or the person who was renting the apartment or the property manager, and then that'll be the verbiage that'll need to be added. But over the course of years, man, the verbiage just got long. I remember one time it was one property management company. Man, the verbiage was so long, the goddamn it insurance company had to charge for it. That happened once or twice. Most of the time, to add someone to the COI was free. 99% of the time. I think one time I remember, and that was because it was so much. Once or twice, it was a fee associated with it. But yeah, it's free. It's just email shuffle, and the insurance company adding the verbiage to the Accord form as additionally insured certificate holder, and then just the email shuffle back in the reverse. So yeah, but yep. So that alone for some of these guys moving, like I was talking to the guy yesterday, another benefit, for being licensed. A lot of people, believe it or not, they don't. A lot of these companies that they come across, they think are licensed and just aren't licensed. And the more buildings require a COI, the more opportunity it is for you as a licensed company. Yeah, I saw it. We were talking about it earlier. If you scroll up in the chat, you'll see somebody mentioned it as well. I saw it. We talked about 30 minutes ago in the stream. So yeah, man, I think that's where I'm gonna end today. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Just make sure you do what's in your best interest of your business. Be more financially literate. Uh, don't rob from the sustainability of business. Be patient, grow the business the correct way. Understand that coming in, the business needs money to grow. When you see a person with a bunch of trucks and they grew them gradually, that's a person that knows how to grow a business. You know what I'm saying? Knows how to grow a business. Person that's going to make the sacrifices when necessary, and that's the person that's going to put the business first. And this is a volume game. It's a volume game. Depending on what you're looking to get out of this, if there's certain things that you're looking to get from this, and it's like with some of the stuff that I mentioned that this guy was talking about earlier, then this is a game that you gotta, your ultimate goal has to be volume. One truck may not get you to what you're looking for. If what you're looking for is modest, then yeah. But a lot of people are looking for that, that upper echelon quality of life, and you're not gonna get that with one truck. You're gonna have to scale. So it is what it is. That's what's up, man. I'm glad he's putting forth some more effort. Hopefully, a lot of people are this year put out more content, and put more effort in, and you know, and focus on their community. I think the key, because I see that a lot of people are, a lot of people hit me up about content or trucking, and they want secrets and da 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 da, and this I'll tell, you know, them the same thing I'll say here before I go. It's all about value. Value. Like you have to provide some form of value. If you don't, and you have to be true. If you know you can't provide value from an educational perspective, you can't fake it. We seen a situation recently of that. The person that tries to make it seem like they're this CDL, well educated person, but to a person that understands this industry, like you could just listen and just you don't know what you're talking about. You never know who's watching. And I think that's the issue. A lot of people think because they create a channel, they think everyone that's going to tune in is a novice, and that's not true. You don't know who's watching. People need to stick to what they know, because you don't want to misspeak, and you don't want to mislead, and you don't want to misinterpret anything, because you're trying to garner an audience based on you acting like you're just so well versed in something that you're really not well versed in. So you have to provide some level of value. Stick to what you know, and if you can't provide value and articulate it from an experienced point of view, because you're just not that tenured, then journey. There's nothing wrong with journey-based content. I think people should take advantage of the platform and put out more content. I just think it's time consuming for a lot of people that are still active. For me, I got time. That's my most powerful resource is time. I have time. So, that's my strongest resource. But even this, like, it's time consuming. Like, I commit time to streaming, but then I have to commit time to brainstorming, which I can multitask. I think about ideas when I'm in the gym and when I'm doing other things. But it's good. I'm glad he's putting out more content. Like, I'm not carrying any old beefs and shit like that, bro. It's 2025. Kirk said he gonna pay us. Kirk said he gonna pay us, so I still ain't thought of nothing. But once I think of something, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't want the cash. I'm gonna find something where that money can be allotted and spent on the community. Never was about the money for my personal um, pleasure. You know, I was going to take the money, and I mean, you guys remember I said forget the money, let's just do another season of Wiseman. But I think we're far past that now. So once I come up with something, he said he was going to honor it. That we can allocate that nickel into something that's beneficial uh uh for the community, then I'll relay that to him, and then we'll see if he holds up to it. I think he will. I think everybody's grown past 2024. So yeah, that's good. You know, much continued success, and hopefully he, you know, continues to put out content that's value, because he has an audience, that partial audience, and you know, he knows it, and there's people that want that value. So yeah. So as far as the other thing y'all talking about, just talking about, I can't remember, it's too short, so I think I'm blocked now because of my account. Yeah, so I saw recent content on that, and I know he watches me. So if you're watching now, I'm just telling you, like, taking my talking points is not going to help you gather an audience. Because if you're taking my talking points and you're misconstruing them and you're mispronouncing words like inflationary and stemmy as stymie, and you're reading off a paper, and then you come across stemmy and you pronounce it as stymie, and you see inflationary and you announce it as infusion, that means, one, you can't read, and that means you don't understand what you're reading. So how are you educated? If you mispronounce inflationary and stemmy is stymie, it means you don't even know what you're talking about. Now, I seen it. So how many other people you think saw it as well? Talking about, I'm the only person that ever talked about deregulation, and I didn't read it off of paper. And that's because I told him when he was up here about this whole broker transparency that the forefathers of trucking in that era wanted in the first place, which made him go back and, like, it's just whatever. I don't know, bro. That shit is crazy to me, bro. Like, stick to things that you know, bro. That way you won't misspeak. I don't know, bro. Yeah, so I don't know. I just hope he stops taking my content, creates his own content, his own talking points, and so that he can garner an audience, man. Like, my talking points ain't, these are my talking points. And if you're not going to be able to articulate them the way I articulate them because you don't understand, you don't know who's watching, bro. You're reading off of paper, bro. That shit's crazy to me, bro. It is what it is. But shout out to Edie for that super chat. I seen it. I didn't miss it. Where's my buddy?
Sweet.
You call it Fake It Till You Make It LLC. A lot of fake it till you make it. A lot of fake it till you make it. Get it out the mud. Fake it till you make it. I think fake it till you make it can be prevented by just starting from humble beginnings and growing. I just really think people should really start and grow. And as they grow and learn, they grow, they get better, and they can reinvest that money into ultimately becoming what they want to become. I think most people start too prematurely with not enough, working capital, and that's what ultimately becomes their demise. But it also simultaneously it does have some direct effect on the market, which is the unfortunate side. I don't, when I used to do there's no such thing as cheap freight. I'm not ignorant. I understand that ignorance is definitely has a direct effect. It definitely directly affects the market. But what I was trying to get people to understand is that's something that's beyond your control, and it'll never not be an issue, especially in the times that we're in and going forward based on where we see people's mental capacity at. So it's something that you got to kind of like put in your rear view. Camaraderie days are over. Focus on what you have in front of you, because that's something that's not going anywhere. If anything, it's probably going to get worse. It's probably going to get worse, bro. Because if we looking at the mindset of people now and then what we see going forward, and then you introduce, depending on where we go with the illegals, the ones that do get introduced into the market, and even the foreigners that are coming in now, still that are coming through with paperwork that are coming in similar situations. So I just think it's something that people are just gonna have to learn to deal with, because I don't think it's going anywhere. If anything, it's going the ignorance over time is going to get worse. 44 years of life. I mean, it just ain't even trucking. It's in everything. In all my years, the way shit was in the 90s, the ignorance got worse in the 2000s. It got worse in the 2010s. And the pandemic seemed like it just amplified ignorance as far as the trajectory of how it was going in a downward spiral. It amplified it, and it gave it like some, like, what was that shit that you play Super Mario Brothers that would make you bigger? Was it mushrooms or some shit like that? It gave them the shit to make the shit speed up and and amplified even faster, because where we were prior to the pandemic and how the ignorance has gone in just those short few years, like I ain't never seen ignorance grow the way it did over the course of the last few years. For real. And I'm saying that to say this is only getting worse. Like, from this camaraderie here to even just the shit that you see people doing in the street or online for clout, and the disrespect for senior citizens and women. And I seen something, these chicks walked into the Louis Vuitton store and they just walked out with the bags. They just didn't even run. They just walked out. The goddamn it, sensors and shit. They didn't cover their face. Like, this shit is crazy out here now in these streets. It's crazy out here. So you just can't really, I don't think you can really expect a level of camaraderie and people to and it ain't even the people that's doing things because they need to do it for whatever reason, that know what they're doing, and they're just in a situation where, like, yo, man, I need this. I got to do it. I know it ain't the right thing to do. It's a multitude of people that just don't know what the hell they're doing. And that's not going anywhere. It's going to get worse, if anything. So it is what it is. So, all right, on that note, I appreciate everybody. Probably won't stream during the day tomorrow. It's football. I know how y'all is about football. If I stream, it'll be tomorrow night. Call-in show week. I think we're going to bring the call-in show back this week. So people that want to call in the call-in show, call in. Probably towards the end of the week. I gotta mentally get prepared for that. So I'm gonna give myself about 5 or 6 more days for that. So that's coming at the end of the week, Friday or Saturday. Other than that, till next time, I'm out. Peace.